Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, what I would like to do is talk about some intentions I'm setting forth with my channel and kind of like setting up the prompt for some projects that I'll be doing throughout the year. So if you happen to be new to my channel, hi, welcome. This is a good place to start, especially like right now, like if you're just clicking on this video. My channel started with a 6-month no buy, sort of. Like I had content before the 6-month no buy, but that was whenever like the gears are really going on me being a consistent content creator and me also being a different kind of makeup consumer. And that has formed this channel into what it is today. So after my 6-month no buy, I did a year of budgeting publicly where I was buying for myself and for review, and everything was all one budget. And then this past year, I haven't really had any projects kind of things going on, and which is okay. And I don't always need or want a project, but sometimes a project is a nice way to keep in touch and touch base with my wants and needs for when it comes to my channel. I think something that's really important for both me and you to be realistic about is that I cannot be the same kind of content creator that I was when I did my 6-month no buy. My channel has grown a lot since then, size-wise. And what happens when your channel grows size-wise is you get more opportunities, especially to work with brands and brands that want to send you PR. So inherently, my relationship with purchasing and looking at makeup feels a lot different. And also, this has become a job, meaning that I get compensated for the work that I do here. There are other people who watch my channel that also get compensated for doing beauty work, whether it's like in a store or they're another content creator, whether they're doing it on Instagram, TikTok, or another YouTuber. I think what's really important to keep in mind is that if you're not making money doing this and you're not getting sent free product, that you should be watching all this kind of content that not only I do, but everyone does who get with a more critical eye. And I try to look at makeup more critically too. So I think what the reality of the situation is that I'm going to be trying a lot more makeup this year. And I think a lot more of it is going to be PR. I say this because while I've been gone, while I have not been filming, I have been reached out to by a couple of brands who want to offer PR, and I started getting a little bit more PR at the tail end of last year when it came to brushes. Last year, I feel like the brand that I got PR from was Surat, and then I got like Merit here and there last year, but that was really it. It feels to me that this is going to be a year where we're going to see me get more PR. Now, I don't accept all PR, by the way. I only accept what I think I'm going to use or what I think you will find value in as one of the consumers of my videos. Because sometimes I'm not interested in something, but I also know that you're really interested in something. So if that comes my way, it would behoove me to review it for you so I could try to tell you what it's like before you end up buying it, or maybe choose not to buy it based on how I feel about it. So I think all of those things coming to a point is that my relationship with purchasing makeup for me, because I still love beauty, I still love it, has got to change, but I also still want to focus on loving my makeup collection first and foremost. So I'm doing a couple of things this year that I think will help keep me in check. So the first thing I think I'm going to do this year is I'm going to do wish listing instead of purchasing. Now, the wish list is makeup purchasing for me. I still might pull the trigger on something I would like to review that I think would be a good thing to review for my channel and also beneficial to you, but that product might not be something that I was interested in purchasing for me. But what I want to do with the things that I'm interested in. So let's say for whatever reason, I get obsessed with some old product, like I'm trying to think of one. Like let's say there's a Tom Ford quad that's been out forever that I all of a sudden am very into. We're going to wish list it. And instead of looking at like my monthly purchases, we're going to look at my monthly wish list every month. And there's going to be a video where I pull up everything I added to my wish list that month and see if I actually want to buy anything, and then see what I've lost the luster for over the month or so. And I think there will also be an opportunity for something to stay on the wish list that I might put the feelers out to see if it lasts for a couple of months before I buy it. So I don't have any hard and fast rules about like how long it has to be on the wish list until I buy it. We're gonna review the wish list every month together. And I think that will be a really great way for me to practice building the habit of, you know, being discerning about what I'm buying. And like that's stuff that I'm interested in. And I think that could also help you. We're still doing critical sass this year, so we're still unpacking makeup marketing together. We started the year off with a critical sass. The after sass will come back in my next critical sass. I think critical sass will be monthly until the end of the year like it was last year. I don't talk about every brand. So sometimes for me to do it bi-weekly, I feel like I'm forcing myself to pick things that I wouldn't be interested in talking about. So we're going to do it once a month until we hit, you know, holiday releases later in the year. So every critical sass will come with an after sass. And if you're not familiar with either of those, critical sass is my new makeup release videos where I go on Trend Mood and I go on Makeup Release Radar and I look at things that are coming up and I try to unpack the makeup marketing, decide if I think it's a good release. I do try to praise the things that I think are interesting, and then I will demolish the things that I think are lazy and not worth our time. But the thing about that is also that's beautiful is that it's all opinion based. So you might love something that I hate, and you might also buy something that I said that I hate, and you might try it and then recommend it to me later thinking that I got it wrong, which also it happens. That happens, which is great, is that none of these products are so limited edition that I wouldn't be able to rectify the fact that I don't have it later if I wanted to. And then the after sass, I take the most popular products that I talked about in critical sass and I do a full face of makeup with stuff I already own to try to like fill my cup up without having to buy the new thing. And that's what I like to do on the after sass. I have a in-depth brand review coming your way. I have some other reviews coming your way, but like I am doing I'm doing a secret trial of a brand right now. That review won't come out for a few months because I want to get to know the products a lot before I start talking about them to you. Because I like doing that kind of review, like a full brand review off camera, because then I can come at you with like fully formed thoughts and without being swayed by the people in the comment section, which I don't think happens, but like, you know, you start taking things into consideration. But I want my opinions to be like my own. Have still some of that coming, you know, some self-sponsored reviews coming your way this year. And then I want to I'm not going to call it a project pan, but I have some products that I would like to finish up this year, and I have some products that I would like to hit pan on, like some of the shades. So let's talk about those things. So I'm not doing a monthly check-in project pan. This is the introduction to the project pan, and then I will do a video at the end of the year talking about these specific products. I'm not going to weigh them. We're just going to use our visuals. I'm not going to be a serious project panner. That's not my intention by talking about this. So I just don't want anyone to get their hopes up. That's not my intention when it comes to panning. Here's what I would like to do. Over here, I have these 4 cream shades. Let's just ignore that half the palette. And what I would like to do is I would like to at least hit pan on one of them, if not more than one of these beige shades. What I like to do with these is set my eyeshadow base with a powder. I have found that that's the best way for me to get the best longevity out of my eyeshadow. So I should be able to hit pan in one. I would like to pan one fully, but we'll see. If I hit pan in multiples, I'll be excited about that as well. So I just want to see good use in those. I want to finish one, if not both, of my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliners. I have Cocoa and Ash. I think that's really doable. I do have intentions of wearing more makeup this year, like meaning wearing it more off camera. That will be happening because I'm doing, well, I'll talk about a personal thing at the end after I talk about the makeup. I want to finish up my Perfect Blur finishing powder from Chantecaille. This is a couple years old now, and I think we could do it, but I think there's going to be a more concerted effort to finishing it. And another powder I would like to finish up, this is just a mini, so I think I should be able to do it. So I just got the Givenchy powder, but I'm going to focus on using that up before I switch completely to the Givenchy powder. I would like to finish my Surratt Dewdrop Concealer in the shade 2. Shade 1, I use a little bit less than shade 2, so that's why shade 2 is the one I'm planning to pan. I want to finish the Surreal Skin Foundation from Surratt as well. This is kind of a gimme. I'm fairly certain that I'm almost done with this as it is, but I do want to finish it up. I just want to get it out. I also want to get through, this is new to me, so it might not get fully panned, but this is probably what I would wear the most when I go out to see friends, is the Glossier Skin Tint. So I would like to finish that up this year. The most important thing that I think I want to finish up this year is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I got sidetracked when I bought the Victoria Beckham primer, and I want to go back to the Victoria Beckham primer, but I want to finish that first. This is a lofty one. I'm going to try to pan a blush fully. I just hit pan in this Inner Glow blush from Kjaer Weis. And maybe if I don't finish it, I just want to see a lot of pan. I'll be happy with a lot of pan, but I'm just excited that I've hit pan on a blush that's literally never happened for me. So I'm excited that I hit pan, and that made me excited to use it up more. And I know that Kjaer Weis is like they self-describe as a clean brand. I don't know how much time I have left with that product if I don't try to use it up this year. And then what I also want to do is I want to hit pan in at least one of the shades in the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. These shadows are softer, and I think that of all of my eyeshadows, these have some of the biggest dips in the matte. So I think that that's a pretty doable thing, if not finishing up at least this cream matte. Like, I know that the cream mattes are, whenever you have a skin tone like me, are pretty much a gimme whenever you're trying to pan. I think that's okay because I'm not really a project panner, and I still want to feel like I'm using my makeup organically. And I feel like if I'm trying to force myself to pan a dark brown, that's not going to go over as easily or well. It's going to feel forced to me, and the second I feel like I'm being forced to do something is the second I lose interest in it, which is why I'm not doing a monthly project pan check-in. I probably, if I do like finish up some of these things, I probably will keep them around till the end of the year to show you, but I might not. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what I decide. And finally, I think this is like the most important thing. Last year I talked about going on an eyeshadow no-buy, and I didn't stick to it, but I wasn't being strict about it when I set up the rules, but I am going to be strict about it this time. I'm going to be on a strict eyeshadow no-buy. And when I say an eyeshadow no-buy, I mean for my personal use. I have been really into luxury single eyeshadows. Luxury single eyeshadows are not something that bring a lot of people to my channel. So if I were to buy a bunch of them and review them, it would be for me. It wouldn't be for you. It wouldn't be for the benefit of my channel. So I'm not buying eyeshadows specifically because I'm interested in them. If I choose to do a full brand review, I will purchase an eyeshadow because eyeshadow is a pretty important part of a brand's identity for the most part. And I feel like a lot of people are mostly interested in eyeshadows when you're talking about a brand. I will accept eyeshadow PR, but I will not be purchasing eyeshadow for myself outside the realm of a review. For example, I think there was just an eyeshadow release that I saw and I was pretty excited about, and then I was like, well, I can't buy that. I'm on an eyeshadow no buy. So I've already been enforcing it, and I probably will talk about this a lot in Critical Sass. So as I said earlier, I'm going to be doing wish lists, so eyeshadows can go on the wish list. That eyeshadow has to both exist until the new year and hold my attention until the new year for me to purchase it. There is the possibility that I might have to refill on one eyeshadow, and the only thing that I'm thinking of is the Victoria Beckham Cream Shadow Stick in Trench. I use that quite a bit, and so I could see myself panning it. I will allow myself to rebuy that. There are no other eyeshadows in my collection that I think that will happen with. So Trench from Victoria Beckham, that's the only one that kind of lives on the realm of being repurchased. But I have no intentions of buying eyeshadow for myself. But like I said, I'm working on a in-depth brand review. I bought eyeshadows for that. I was obviously a little bit interested in those eyeshadows because I was interested in that brand and reviewing that brand. I only bought the eyeshadows because I was doing that brand review. There could be a bunch of releases this year that I find very titillating when it comes to eyeshadow, but the other thing is, the reason I'm doing the eyeshadow no buy is because, one, I already have a lot of eyeshadows. Two, I have bought a lot of eyeshadows that adhere to my preferences, the way I like to do eyeshadow. Eyeshadow palettes don't really fall into the way I like to do my eyeshadow anymore. I throw on a cream shadow, a brown shadow, and then I might put on a sparkly eyelid shade. Or I might just throw a cream shadow all over my lid. Like, I'm not doing like palette. I don't need a palette to do the looks that I like to do. I still find palettes pretty enticing whenever they're being released, and I'm still attracted to them. And I don't feel like I bought like an incredible excessive amount of eyeshadow last year. I felt like I was still discerning with the shadows that I chose to bring in and the palettes I chose to bring in. But I didn't need to do that. I have so many eyeshadows in just as singles that like I barely ever touch because they're not in the top drawer where I have my single shadows that are either like in pots or in their own compact. And I want to get those more into rotation this year. And I think the only way for that to happen is if I'm not bringing in new eyeshadows for the most part. The other exception is I am doing that purple eyeshadow video. So if I want to buy any more eyeshadows for that, I will. And that's okay because that's like explicitly for that video, which is like something I'm working on for like, you know, it's like specifically for a video, you know, and that's a little bit different. Okay, but I think that's it. I think that's all the rules for the eyeshadow no buy. So you shouldn't see too much eyeshadow coming in this year unless, you know, for the reasons I explicitly stated. I'm not really budgeting, but I think on my end, I'm gonna do a better job tracking what I'm purchasing when it comes to beauty because I like to do those annual, like a year later, do I still love the thing? I still plan on doing those this year, but I wasn't as strict with tracking that kind of thing. So I think I'm gonna track it, but I don't have like numbers in mind for that because I did do like a rough tally of what I bought last year versus what I bought the year before when I was doing my strict budget. I did spend more, but like not as much more as like I thought I had. So that was pretty cool. And then finally, I hope everyone had a happy new year. I do want to share like one of my intentions for the year personally. So you could be done with the video, but it's not like advice. It's not like I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Maybe someone would need to hear this because I have come to this conclusion a little bit on my own, but a little bit with context clues from the people around me. I threw myself into my YouTube work. And I did so at the cost of meeting new people and the relationships that I have in my life. So I definitely have made friends over the past year, but I certainly have had a wall up that I don't think was always there this past year, which happened for a number of reasons that I'm not going to get into because they're personal. But I threw myself into YouTube, and so I kind of made it so that I couldn't do some things that I probably would have liked to have done because I was always working on YouTube. I have come up with a structure to keep up the same amount of videos coming out and also being someone who can experience life more. I think last year was a year that I needed to, if I wanted my channel to grow, to have just grinding all of the time, but that's not my intention for my YouTube channel this year. So I'm going to try to do 3 videos a week, but if it fluctuates, that's why. I'm trying to enjoy life. So I'm trying to be more open-hearted in my personal life. I don't know if anyone else has done this. And so I'm not doing like a year of yes or anything like that, but I am on a journey to reconnect with some people I've lost along the way. I've already started. It's been very great. I'm excited to have some people back in my life, and I'm excited to have my heart open to them, to have a relationship with them. And when I say relationship, I'm keeping it vague. Like it can be any kind of relationship. It could be a friendship relationship. It could be a familial relationship. It could just, I'm looking forward to that. But I've also noticed, as I've already started doing this work, that it is going to be emotionally taxing. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But like, I just saw someone the other day who I haven't seen in over a year. And when we met up, it was really great. And then I found myself feeling very bittersweet about the whole interaction on the way home from that and like that evening. And the reason it felt bittersweet is because I felt like I lost a year with that person. And I don't want that to happen. And I feel like the world has been keeping me away from, like, you know, we had the pandemic and that kept us away from people. And I enjoyed that escape, and I think I enjoyed it too much. So I'm trying to find myself enjoying spending time with people again. And like another thing that's happened is when Kackie was here, I ran into someone I was very close with in high school and I've lost touch with, and we immediately made plans to catch up. So I'm seeing her really soon. And what I'm saying to you is that is my commitment to myself. And while YouTube is still a very large commitment, I'm going to take my personal relationships as a precedent over. So maybe one day I will choose to not edit a video. And I'm not, obviously, I don't like, I have a schedule, but like, I want you to know, if you don't see me here, it's for a good reason. It's, if you see me here a little bit less, my intentions, I'm trying to do things that are enriching my life otherwise. And YouTube still very much enriches my life. Personal connection in real life is something that I think I need to really focus on. And I think a lot of great things will happen because my heart is open to them. And I think even things here on YouTube could happen because my heart is open. And I think that's all good. And I know that we are in a time period, kind of just in general, where it is very hard to have your heart open, and it's having your heart open is a surefire way to get hurt. But I think I would rather try and get hurt emotionally than not try at all. So I will leave you with that thought. But what I was saying a little bit earlier is like, I probably will be wearing more makeup in my free time because I'll be seeing people more, and I'll probably just, you know, throw in a little bit of makeup every time I see someone and spend time with them. And I'm looking forward to those moments. I hope you all had a happy new year, and I thank you for giving me the time and space to talk a little bit personally, and I look forward to all of those projects and promises I set forth in this video for the new year for my channel. I'm sending you a lot of love. I hope you can like feel that, and I'm so grateful that so many of you have been watching my content while I've been away, going back to old content you may have missed, rewatching things. I really, really appreciate that. I've seen your comments, whether or not I directly responded to them, I've seen them, and I really, really appreciate that. I feel that love, like you're, you know, I feel the love reciprocated in the only way that we can do here on YouTube. That wraps up the video. If you are not subscribed and you want to subscribe and see what happens this year, I would love to have you subscribe. I feel like no one knows what's going to happen this year. We'll see. We'll see. But if you want to join me for the journey, and it should be a fun journey, I try to keep it fun. I would love to have you here on that journey. Make sure you like this video. If you are interested in a Patreon, I have one. If you happen to be interested in one, I have one. Over there, I try to do one additional video a month. In that video, I typically talk about what happens on the back end of YouTube and like things that people might be interested in. You get sneak peeks sometimes at content depending on how fast I can edit and produce it and put it out, because sometimes that's a quick turnaround for me, just depending on how much time I have, because, you know, I work full-time as well. Anyway, so you can check that out if you'd like to. Patreon is not mandatory, and you don't have to do it. That's there if you'd like to. Everyone who is on Patreon gets the same rewards no matter what level of patronage they're at. So it starts at $1. Everyone who gets $1 a month gets the same thing that people who get $5 a month or whatever. So feel free to check that out. But again, no pressure. Liking, commenting, watching my videos is the best way to support me. Patreon's just something else. But I do thank all of my current patrons. You're the best. I think that's all the things I have to say. That's like the YouTube wrap. That's the end, you know. I think we've done all the things that we need to do here as far as like YouTuber to watcher. Anyway, remember to follow your hope and you'll find me. And go forth. Tits out. Bye-bye.